Hello and welcome to The Perfect Song. I'm here with Mike and Al. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
And today we are talking about a Phil Collins song, and the song is In the Air Tonight. Now, this candidate for Perfect Song is sort of chosen. I chose it because it's sort of a popular culture icon as a song. It's very much pervades popular culture and movies. Uh, it was very big for us at the time it came out. In 81, I had this album and I listened to this song a lot. It played on MTV quite a bit because it had a kind of a cool, cheesy, but cool video for the time. So a little bit about this song. Like I said, 1981 from the album Face Value. Phil Collins had already been very famous in music because he was in the very big band Genesis, popular band, as the drummer and singer, the front man for the later part. And this was his first solo outing. And I believe this was the first single that he put out as a solo artist. And I know for me, coming from, with him coming from Genesis, as sort of a prog rock background, Phil Collins' influence on Genesis made them more poppy and popular. They came out with albums like Abacab and things where they had more Phil Collins-esque songs, I call them. Just more popular and more palatable, not so proggy. But this song in particular had a lot of, it was very, very moody, and its instrumentation was a surprise to me. It is drum machine and keyboards and very atmospheric, which was a bit of a departure for him. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, and I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. Do you guys remember this song back in the day? You must. Al?
I do. I liked this song a lot when it first came out. I think Patton Oswalt has a bit about like being a certain age and like, oh, have you guys checked out, No Jacket Required? It's a pretty dark album. And I think coming from a more suburban place like I was, it was kind of one of the first times like, oh, you can feel weird about things, which is so strange because it is, in retrospect, very mainstream. But yeah, no, like the moodiness of it, like you said, the atmosphere that it creates, the very famous drum break. I really liked it a lot when I was younger. I'll just go ahead and say I like it now too.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember when I first heard it, but I will say of all the Phil Collins solo songs, it's the only one I can listen to.
Come on, Studio.
Oh Lord! But I do think it's a very good song.
This song is steeped in lore.
Yes,
it is. I mean,
but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there was the myth about he sang it to he saw some guy who watched a woman drowned, and then he invited the guy, found out who the guy was, hired a private investigator, invited him to the concert, and sang the song to him.
Yeah.
And yeah, none of it's true.
Right. It's all just manufactured, just the story. And he has said it's not even about a person actually drowning. I was going through a divorce.
Not literally, no.
Right, not literally. I was going through a divorce and I was mad. So I just wrote a song that I tried to capture it.
He was drowning in emotions.
There you go. See? People are so literal.
But there are two different things that I read that were very funny. I thought it said that In the Air Tonight was Phil Collins' first single as a solo artist. He claims that he offered it up to as a Genesis song, but his bandmates rejected it, saying it was too simple. And then Tony Banks, who was with Genesis, insists that Collins never played them the song. So there's two different stories by the people in the band, but I thought that was very funny.
I'm not sure how Genesis would do it. It is very simple and more atmospheric than virtuoso type. Like Tony Banks is a great keyboard player, but it's about complexity, and this song isn't like that. So I'm not sure how that would even fit.
Yeah, there aren't too many layers to it, but I do think it's a very good song for what it actually does. And it's still, you could play it now and it has the same effect on you as if you listened to it 40 years ago,
Right. Yeah.
So
and
it is quite remarkable, its longevity.
one of the things about it is it has that gated reverb drum sound. Basically, that drum sound was kind of not invented. It was sort of discovered while Phil Collins was recording on a Peter Gabriel album. Well, the third album, Melt, is what the Peter Gabriel album is called. And the very first song on that album is called Intruder, and it has this very distinct drum sound that starts it out. They accidentally discovered that drum sound while trying to record that song. I'm not going to get into the technical part of it, but basically they had a certain mixing board in the studio that had this circuit so you could talk to the people in the studio. So there's like a button you push and said, "Oh yeah, that was great, guys. Let's try it again." Well, they somehow accidentally got the drum to go through this circuit, and that circuit had a really, really strong compressor on it because they don't want like stray noise when the person's talking. But the drums played through that and made this really sharp and distinct sound. That's the drum sound. And Phil Collins used it on his well, arguably everyone used it on their albums throughout the 80s.
In the
after
80s,
that.
yeah.
In the 80s.
So he's the one who came up with that sound?
Well, he was the one on the drums playing for Peter Gabriel's that song Intruder by Peter Gabriel.
I didn't realize he's the one who started that.
Yeah, he's the one. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and the engineer, by the way, who helped him invent it was Hugh Padgham, who's a famous engineer as well. Anyway, very famous drum break. One of the top moments in drumming. I don't know. It's interesting. People know it. Well, I know. That's a thing people do. I didn't come up with it.
Certainly, if that were a question you would ask me without this conversation prior to, if you would ask me the most iconic drum part of a song you could remember, I'd probably say that.
I think this is one of them. Certainly, if you're inclined to make great drumming moments lists,
it would have to be on there.
It's on there. I mean, if that's your inclination.
I don't know. Yes. I mean, here we are making a podcast about perfect songs. I shouldn't laugh.
Well, we're culturally criticizing. That's what we're doing. We're cultural critics, and that's what people do. They list, aggregate, and talk about. And that's really much what we're doing.
Yes.
So yeah, this song, I love this song, actually. I think it's a great song. Still, like Al said, It's still a great song. And again, a lot of it is the arrangement of it and the fact that he starts with these washy keys and little dingly keys, little keyboard synths, and that's just little drum machine repeated pattern. And it really just kind of brings you along. And if you don't know what's coming, that makes that drum break that's that much so effective. You're like, whoa, and it's an explosion, this crescendo. And then it barrels along to the end with that big percussion, and he starts really going with the vocals. And it takes you on a little journey. And the drums release this tension that's been sort of building. We hope you're enjoying this GenXplainers podcast. Remember to find us and follow us on social media. Give us a like, a follow, or support us on Patreon. And we'd much appreciate a 5-star rating on the podcast platform of your choice. Now, let's get back to the show. Is this a perfect song? And I'm going to go first because I think you might know the answer. I think it is a perfect song. It's an interesting song, and I think it's perfect, but not even in a typical way. But I think it's a very distinct and unique song. But I think it's perfect for what it's doing. Just in general, perfect.
Well, I actually do think it is also. And so I'm not going to be contrarian here because I actually do think it's a perfect song. I certainly can't say that I always want to listen to it, but but I do feel that it is something that it works on so many different levels. It really is the best of his work, I think. The popularity of this album because of this song caused Genesis to go in a new direction, which I despised. But the sound it created, you really hadn't heard it before, as I just found out. It is something that I do think is really pretty perfect for what it does. So,
yeah. How about you, Al?
I think it's a great song. It's probably my favorite Phil Collins song. I will also say that I'm actually not against Phil Collins. I actually like a lot of other songs he did. I mean, not like I'm not crazy about him, but I like Easy Lover with Philip Bailey and
One More
Separate
Night
Lives.
is your favorite, isn't it? One More Night.
No,
It's not a bad song, though.
it's not a bad song.
I mean,
though.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to run out and try to seek it out necessarily, but
Yeah.
objectively speaking, it's pretty good.
But I mean, this is probably my favorite in the air tonight because it has that moodiness and it's him sort of working against type in a weird way. You know what I mean? It's not like a lot of other Phil Collins songs. I'll just put it that way that I'm aware of.
You said
Yeah.
moodiness. You said moodiness, and I thought you said it has a lot of bootiness.
Oh, if it had more bootiness, I would be way more into it. But it's just moodiness.
Yeah. What you say about going against type is interesting because Phil Collins, especially in his solo work, I mean, Phil Collins is kind of a goofy guy, and he's kind of a silly guy in a way. And some of his songs, and he loves like he was influenced by like Motown. So a lot of his albums have like Motown covers, and he likes that kind of,
You Can't Hurry Love.
he likes that kind of boppy fun stuff too. But this song comes from an extremely honest, emotional place. And I think when he wrote the song, he was like, well, I'm going to write the song that mirrors the feelings I'm having about it. Melancholy, burning, like an underpinning of anger. And then I'm just going to release it. And this is what it sounds like. This is what it would feel like sonically to release this anger I'm feeling, or this, So I think that's what sets it apart in a way. It's just that's how it's not like, quote, a Phil Collins song,
My understanding of how it came about is actually a little bit different, which is that he kind of created this song musically. He kind of created that kind of mood. And then he wasn't trying to like open up himself or bare himself. It just kind of came naturally. But because he was going through that at the time, that is the tenor of the lyrics that came out. But it was kind of spontaneous, I think, or at least that's what I've read. Anyway.
Yeah, a little more organic and just sort of came about. Well, it works great. I mean, in my notes for whether it's a perfect song, what did I say? I say amazingly well-crafted song that did things sonically that influenced music production, and a moody masterpiece that he sells very well, drenched in lore and urban legend. And it's like a slow burn to a universally recognizable cathartic crescendo. I'm going for some sort of Peabody Award with that one.
I guess so.
Wow.
Good luck. I'll vote for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Do they give those out for podcasts?
God, I hope so.
Hopefully we'll get a podcasty.
A casty or a potty.
Aww.
I feel like ours is definitely more worthy of a potty.
Of a potty, definitely. All right. Well, hey.
But I didn't vote.
Oh, you didn't vote? Uh-oh, here we go.
I said it's good. I said it's great. I don't think it's perfect.
Don't dick around with me. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I just voted no. I just voted no. I was like, that's like, whoosh.
Okay.
I didn't do my little wussy, like, oh, conditionally.
I appreciate that. And that's I get it. It's fine. 2 yeses and a no. No turkey, but that's okay. I think we all think it's a very good song.
Absolutely.
Could I ask, what are the things that make it not perfect? Just the specific little things.
Well, I don't know that there actually is a specific little thing. Like, I don't think there's anything that would like, oh, if only it had more like guitar, or if it hadn't been produced the way it was.
Yeah.
I would say that it was perfectly put together for what it is. It doesn't seem perfect to me. It's such a hard thing to qualify.
It is. It can be. Yeah.
Because I think there are certain things. I've kind of gone back on some of my previous votes and it's like, well, if I use the criteria for song, this one song on this other song, I think I would have voted differently. So I just, who knows? Maybe it's just, I don't want to say that Phil Collins has ever done anything perfect. I don't know, but I do like him. So I'm not like, I think I like him more than Mike does. And I think that Phil Collins and I could be more likely to be friends than Mike and Phil Collins. So I have that going for me, I think, at some point.
Right. Well, sometimes you just can't say that it's perfect just because you don't feel that it is. And maybe there isn't specific reasons.
Yeah. And this is the reason why Matt canceled the entire podcast from here on out.
Yeah.
Alan is inconsistent at best.
I just don't think it's working out.
It's not
me.
you.
It's not you. It's me.
Well, okay. Well, thanks for listening. Hey, how do you audience feel about Phil Collins in the air tonight? Do you feel anything about it? Do you even know what we're talking about? Let us know. Find us on the socials, and have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
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 Goodbye. Ding 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 ding.
Good night.
Ding 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 ding. Thank you for listening to this GenXplainers podcast. Follow us on Instagram and friend us on Facebook. Just search for GenXplainers and find us on Patreon, where you can support the channel and gain access to extended cuts of the podcast as well as exclusive bonus content. See you next time.